The McLaren prodigy. When Lewis Hamilton arrived in Formula One in 2007, he didn't arrive quietly. He showed up at McLaren as a rookie paired with Fernando Alonso, a two-time world champion. Nobody gave him a chance. Alonso was supposed to be the team leader, the established star. Hamilton was supposed to learn, stay quiet, and wait his turn. Instead, he matched Alonso from race 1. In Australia, his debut, Hamilton finished third on the podium. In Malaysia, he was second. By the fourth race in Bahrain, he was leading the championship, a rookie leading the world championship. The paddock couldn't believe it. Ron Dennis had spotted Hamilton when he was just 10 years old at an awards ceremony. Lewis walked up to him and said he wanted to race for McLaren one day. Dennis backed him through karting, through junior formulas, through every step. And now, in his first F1 season, Hamilton was proving Dennis right. The 2007 season became a three-way title fight between Hamilton, Alonso, and Ferrari's Kimi Räikkönen. Hamilton won 4 races. He led the championship going into the final round in Brazil. He needed to finish 5th or higher to become world champion in his rookie year. Then, disaster struck. A gearbox issue in the race dropped him down the order. He finished 7th. Räikkönen won the race and the championship by 1 point. Hamilton lost the title by a single point in his debut season. Most rookies would have been crushed. Hamilton came back hungrier. In 2008, he was even better. He won 5 races. He battled Ferrari's Felipe Massa all season long, and it came down to the final corner of the final lap in Brazil again. Massa won the race and thought he'd won the championship. His team celebrated. The Ferrari garage erupted. Then Hamilton passed Timo Glock in the final corner to grab 5th place. He won the championship by 1 point. At 23 years old, Lewis Hamilton was world champion. The McLaren prodigy had done what seemed impossible, winning a title in just his second season. This was the version full of raw speed, fearless overtakes, and pure instinct. The kid who knocked on Ron Dennis's door had delivered on every promise. The frustrated fighter. After winning the 2008 championship, Hamilton expected more titles to follow quickly. Instead, he spent the next 5 years fighting with equipment that wasn't good enough. McLaren built fast cars, but they were unreliable, inconsistent, and strategically mismanaged. This period tested everything Hamilton had. From 2009 to 2013, Hamilton won races, but he couldn't challenge for championships. The frustration was visible. He'd qualify on pole, then the car would break down. He'd lead races, then the team would make strategy errors. He'd have the pace to win, then reliability would strike. In 2012, he won 4 races, but only finished 4th in the championship. The car was quick, but it retired too often. Button, his teammate, had fewer wins but more consistency. Hamilton looked defeated at times, questioning whether McLaren could give him the tools he needed. The breaking point came at the 2012 Singapore Grand Prix. Hamilton was leading comfortably when a gearbox failure ended his race. He got out of the car looking completely broken, like he'd had enough. Weeks later, he made the biggest decision of his career. He announced he was leaving McLaren for Mercedes. The entire paddock thought he was making a mistake. Mercedes hadn't won a race since their return to F1 in 2010. McLaren was a proven winner. Why would he leave? But Hamilton saw something others didn't. Mercedes were building something special. Ross Brawn was there. Niki Lauda convinced him to join. And deep down, Hamilton knew he needed a fresh start. This version of Hamilton was raw, emotional, and visibly frustrated. He wore his heart on his sleeve. When things went wrong, you saw the pain. When he won, you saw the relief. The frustrated fighter was learning that talent alone wasn't enough. He needed the right team, the right car, and the right moment. And he was about to find all 3. The Silver Arrow. In 2013, Hamilton joined Mercedes, and the transformation began. Not immediately on track. The car wasn't ready yet. But internally, everything changed. Mercedes gave him control over his image, his brand, his life outside racing. McLaren had been strict, corporate, buttoned up. Mercedes let him be himself. He started experimenting with fashion, music, and lifestyle. But more importantly, Mercedes were building a monster of a car for 2014. When the hybrid era regulations arrived, Mercedes had spent years preparing. They built a power unit that was miles ahead of everyone else. Hamilton won the first race of 2014 in Australia, then Malaysia, then Bahrain. The dominance had begun. His teammate was Nico Rosberg, and what followed was one of the most intense teammate rivalries in F1 history. They'd been friends since karting as kids. Now they were fighting for world championships in identical cars. Hamilton won the 2014 title, but it was close. Rosberg pushed him hard. In 2015, Hamilton dominated. 10 race wins. The championship wrapped up with 3 rounds remaining. He looked untouchable, relaxed, in complete control. Then came 2016, and the rivalry with Rosberg reached breaking point. They crashed in Spain, taking both cars out. The tension was unbearable. Hamilton won more races, but reliability issues cost him points. Rosberg was more consistent, and when they reached Abu Dhabi for the final race, Rosberg only needed to finish on the podium to win the title. Hamilton led the race and deliberately slowed down, trying to back Rosberg into the cars behind. Team orders came over the radio telling him to speed up. Hamilton ignored them. It didn't work. Rosberg finished second and won the championship. Days later, Rosberg retired from F1 entirely. The rivalry had consumed him, and he walked away as world champion. For Hamilton, losing to his teammate hurt more than any other defeat, but it also freed him. With Rosberg gone, Hamilton became the undisputed team leader, and what followed was dominance on a scale the sport had rarely seen. The Silver Arrow era was just getting started. The record chaser. From 2017 to 2020, Hamilton entered a different phase. He wasn't just winning championships, he was chasing history itself. Michael Schumacher's records had stood for years. 7 world championships, 91 race wins, numbers that seemed untouchable. Hamilton started closing in on both. In 2017, he won his 4th title after an intense battle with Vettel and Ferrari. In 2018, he won his 5th, matching Fangio. In 2019, his 6th, moving past Fangio and closing in on Schumacher. In 2020, he equaled Schumacher's 7 championships and surpassed his 91 wins. Mercedes were dominant during this period, but Hamilton's performances were on another level. His consistency was robotic. He rarely made mistakes. His qualifying laps were perfect. His race management flawless. But this era wasn't just about the numbers. Hamilton evolved off the track too. He became vocal about social justice, equality, and climate change. He took a knee before races. He spoke about representation in motorsport. He used his platform in ways F1 had never seen before. Some fans loved it. Others wanted him to just drive. Hamilton didn't care. He believed his voice mattered beyond racing. The 2020 season was peak dominance. He won 11 races. He clinched the championship with 3 rounds remaining. He equaled Schumacher's 7 titles. And when he won in Portugal, he broke the all-time wins record, 92 victories, the most in F1 history. Standing on the podium that day, Hamilton looked emotional, not celebratory, but reflective. He'd achieved what many thought impossible, but there was still one thing missing, an 8th title that would make him the undisputed greatest of all time. The record chaser had caught almost every record in the book. Now he wanted the one that would cement his legacy forever, the heartbroken champion. The 2021 season will forever define this version of Hamilton. After dominating for years, he faced his greatest challenge. Max Verstappen and Red Bull were fast, aggressive, and relentless. From race 1, the gloves were off. Hamilton and Verstappen collided at Silverstone. Hamilton won. Verstappen crashed out. The tension escalated. They collided again at Monza. Both drivers retired. The championship fight was war. Hamilton won some battles. Verstappen won others. The momentum swung back and forth all season. By the time they reached Abu Dhabi, they were level on points. Winner takes all. Hamilton drove the perfect race. He controlled the pace, managed the tires, built a gap. With 5 laps remaining, he was cruising to his 8th world championship. Then, Nicholas Latifi crashed. Safety car. The race director's decision allowed lapped cars to unlap, giving Verstappen 1 lap to attack on fresh soft tires against Hamilton's worn hard tires. Verstappen passed him. The championship was gone. Hamilton's radio was silent after the race. No words, just silence. He congratulated Verstappen, attended the ceremony, and then the pain set in. Mercedes protested. The decision was controversial, debated, dissected, but it stood. Verstappen was champion. Hamilton was heartbroken. In the weeks after, there was silence. No social media posts, no public appearances. Rumors swirled that he might retire. The man who'd chased perfection for so long had been beaten in the cruelest way possible. When he finally returned for 2022, something had changed. The fire was still there, but the joy looked dimmed. Mercedes built a terrible car. Porpoising issues made it undrivable. Hamilton struggled to even reach the podium. After years of winning, he went the entire 2022 season without a single victory, his longest winless streak since 2013. insane. For someone who'd won at least one race every season since his debut, it was painful to watch. This version of Hamilton was vulnerable, human, and clearly hurting. The heartbroken champion had lost more than a title in Abu Dhabi. He'd lost the momentum that had carried him for years. The elder statesman. By 2023 and into 2024, Hamilton had transformed again. The pain of 2021 remained, but he'd found perspective. At 39 years old, he became F1's elder statesman. The young drivers like Verstappen, Leclerc, and Norris were now the future. Hamilton was the past trying to hold on, but he refused to fade quietly. Mercedes improved the car through 2023. Hamilton took 2 podiums, but still no wins. The winless streak extended to 2 full seasons. Then, in 2024, something shifted. At Silverstone, his home race, Hamilton won for the first time in 945 days. The emotion was overwhelming. He sobbed in the car. He broke down in Parc Fermé. Years of frustration, heartbreak, and doubt poured out. He won again in Belgium later that season, proving Silverstone wasn't a fluke. But the bigger story was his decision to leave Mercedes for Ferrari in 2025. After 12 years with the team, 6 championships together, and over 80 wins, Hamilton announced he was moving to the most iconic team in motorsport. The announcement shocked everyone. Mercedes had been his home. Toto Wolff had been his partner. But Hamilton saw Ferrari as the final chapter, the last chance to win an 8th title with the sport's most legendary team. This version of Hamilton is reflective, experienced, and at peace with his journey. He's no longer chasing records with desperation. He's savoring moments, appreciating the competition, and racing for the pure love of it. He mentors younger drivers now. He speaks about legacy more than championships. Off track, his activism has only grown. He's pushed F1 to address diversity. He's invested in changing the sport's culture. He's used his voice to create space for others. The elder statesman isn't the fastest anymore, but he's still one of the most complete drivers on the grid. He's proven he can win in different eras, with different regulations, against different generations. From the McLaren prodigy who shocked the world in 2007 to the elder statesman still fighting in 2024, every version of Lewis Hamilton has been extraordinary. 7 world championships, over 100 race wins, the most poles in history, records that may never be broken. But beyond the numbers, Hamilton changed what it means to be an F1 driver. He showed that athletes can have opinions, can fight for causes, can be more than just racers. At 39 years old, now racing for Ferrari, Hamilton is writing his final chapter. Whether he wins that elusive 8th title or not, his legacy is already secure. The kid from Stevenage who dreamed of racing for McLaren became one of the greatest drivers in history. And he did it his way.